What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. I hope you're having a great day today. This video is going to be a little bit different than some of my other videos. This is just going to kind of be me just talking through some things with cryptocurrency. So if cryptocurrency isn't really something you are into, one, I don't know maybe why you clicked on it, but this is going to be kind of an unscripted, just going into kind of looking through my cryptocurrency portfolio and talking about just my thoughts on cryptocurrency. So this is very much just personal opinion and thought, but it was a video I wanted to do, something I was just kind of thinking through this morning. And so we're going to jump right into my Coinbase portfolio here. And using Coinbase here just because this is Coinbase is a platform that has access to a lot of what are called altcoins or alternative coins, which were built, a lot of them were built off of the idea of Bitcoin. Some of them run on the backbone of Ethereum, which are the kind of the two main coins. So let me actually just jump into my portfolio here. And we're just going to kind of talk through my thoughts on some of this stuff, because right now we're in this kind of this time where a lot of stuff is kind of jumping again. We're in mid-August right now. We're kind of get this jump in cryptocurrencies and kind of think through, like, where is this heading? What is the future of this? You know, there's so many altcoins. Which ones are going to be popular? Things like that. And so something I was looking at this morning. So Cardano is a altcoin that is a competitor to Ethereum. And it's been getting a lot of traction lately. It's up almost 2x from where I bought it. But if we go back a year ago, this thing was 10 cents. So if you would have bought Cardano in last year, September, October, it would have been 10 cents. This would have been 20 times growth. So that was really the time to get into it. And man, this is where you can really just start to kick yourself, because I think 2020, that like Q2, Q3 time frame, and there was so much going on. There was these, you know, I think early 2020, everybody kind of became aware of these cryptocurrencies. And then in that end of 2020 is where we saw a lot of attention around that. And so you could pretty much have bought any one of these altcoins in that late 2020 and 10x, 20x your investment today. Which obviously those that had play money to do, it worked. The thing is, you don't know. And so, like, for me, I just didn't have hundreds of dollars sitting around to dump into this. And it wasn't until really this year that I kind of saw what this coin could be and what its competition could be. And so that's when I bought into it. And I think that's something that I've been kind of looking at here too. You know, there's so many of these. If we look at any of these coins, I think most of them anyhow, like Polkadot, we go back a year ago, it was $3. Now it's $22. Uniswap, we go back, it was $2 again, 10x of what it is today. So many of these. Compound is one. Let's see if this one increased a lot too. Yeah, Compound up 4 or 5x. So almost any of these. There was some of these weren't around last year. A lot of these had come up more recently, and there's just so many of them, right? You know, like, how do you know which ones to buy? A lot of these, especially these ones down here on Coinbase, they'll give you some free cryptocurrencies when they come up. Like, sometimes when they launch a new one, they'll give away like $2, $3, $4 worth of that token for free if you just watch their little thing and take a quiz on it. So I always do those, which, if you haven't signed up for Coinbase, link in the description. Click on that, get yourself signed up. I think they're giving free Bitcoin, maybe still. You have to just click the link and see what it offers you, but it does help me out if you click the link. If you do not have Coinbase yet and you want to get into some of this and just kind of look around. So obviously, like, not everybody has time to research every single one of these. So one strategy is just buy a little bit of them all. But then you have to time things of, like, you know, when do you sell? Like, going back to Cardano, man, I'm going to get so much hate for saying that wrong every time. You know, it's tempting to sell it right now. Like, oh, I put in $200 and it's worth, or is it, there it is, $337. So that's $137 in profit in just since March and July. So that's awesome. Like, that's a huge return on your investment. But could this go higher? And that's kind of what I've been trying to look at, is to figure out, which ones do you invest into? When do you buy? When do you sell on them? One thing I've learned is this market cap number is very important. So right now, Cardano has a $70 billion market cap. So it's a competitor to Ethereum. So if I go into Ethereum, and this is Ethereum 2, this is currently Ethereum working to upgrade their network. So the values in here, I believe, are still the same. Let's see, 382 billion. Make sure I'm doing this right. 381 billion. So I think these numbers are the same. They might just be slightly different from the network. I'll just go under Ethereum here just to make sure. But Cardano being at 70 or 80 billion, and this being at 380. So do a little bit of math. That means Ethereum is almost 5 times larger than Cardano is. So if Cardano was to get the same market share and this market cap of Ethereum, if it were to blow up like that, it still would have a 5 times growth to it, which would mean that $330 or whatever I have in there could be worth $1,500 or more if it were to grow to that level. So that's something that's interesting to look at as market cap, because it gives you the idea of how much can it grow still, how much is there. And that's something you would look at with stocks as well. So if we go to some of these smaller coins, I don't know, Uniswap and Polkadot actually have pretty good uses. One of these random ones, Clover Finance, I have no idea what this is. A $200 million market cap. So, in theory, if this grew to be the size of a Cardano, man, I just gotta stop. That would be, did I do that right? 80 billion. So 80 billion. Yep. Yeah. So if this grew to that size, it would 400 times grow. That's crazy. That, if you put $1,000 into this and it grew to that amount, it'd be worth $400,000. But here's the reality: is then you have to look into the supply. Are they making more of these coins? Things like that. Does it have a use case? So there's so many things to look into as to, is this a coin that's going to grow? Because the reality is not every single coin can grow to the size of Bitcoin. There's only so much currency, money in the world to be invested into these. And so, when you look at a Bitcoin, let's pull that one up. Actually don't have Bitcoin sitting in here right now. Almost $1 trillion market cap. So in order for Bitcoin to get to, $100,000, it's going to need to almost be a $2 trillion market cap. And what's interesting, if we jump into, let's go to a company like Microsoft. Microsoft is a $2.2 trillion market cap. So let's look at like Apple. Let's see what they are. $2.4 trillion market cap. So, Microsoft, Apple, let's go to Google. The three big tech companies, 1.8 trillion. Is that the right one? Yeah, 1.8 trillion. So same thing. So these big giant tech companies, $2 trillion market cap. So for Bitcoin to get to $100,000 per coin, it will be worth this cryptocurrency, which has no infrastructure. Well, let me rephrase that. It has infrastructure. That's the whole point of the blockchain. But it's all digital. Would have to be the size of these companies. And I think it's possible. I think Bitcoin's going to get to, kind of my number in my head is 400,000 is going to be that kind of, point at which Bitcoin is used more regularly. That's kind of be the high point of it. But theories are it could go, there's no limit to how high it can go. It just depends on how much money gets poured into it. If it became, the size, let's say cryptocurrency became the size of the those three big tech companies, $6 trillion. So 6,000 divided by 879. So that would be a 6.8 times growth times 46,992. So $320,000 per Bitcoin if Bitcoin grows to be the size of Google, Apple, and Microsoft combined, which is possible if those companies and other companies start investing into it, start accepting it as currency, things like that. So you can see how it can grow. And obviously more Bitcoins are being minted every day too, which is why you have to look at the circulating supply, the market cap. There's those two variables go into things. That's why I don't think things like Dogecoin are really going to be, they're not going to grow like Bitcoin does, because Dogecoins are constantly being minted, which means if people aren't putting money into Dogecoin and more being created, then every time they're created, they become worth less. You can compare all this easily to the United States dollar. When the government prints more dollars, prints more money, well, yeah, you get more money, which feels great. You get your stimulus check or whatever, and you have that money. But then inflation kicks into where, well, now as things level set, well, that dollar is you still have X amount of dollars, but the value of that dollar isn't quite as strong as it previously was, because now there's more of them. And so that's the same thing. It's the same case in cryptocurrency with things like Dogecoin, where there's so many coins being minted each day that it affects that valuation of it. And I think that's why Ethereum actually here recently, they're now doing what they call burning coins. So they have 117 million Ethereum in circulation, but now they're actually able to burn coins. And I believe what happens is when transactions happen, where usually fees are collected, that they're taking that fee and they're burning it. So I believe that's kind of what they're looking at doing. And it's part of that is to help the valuation of it. And there may be some other use cases to it as well that I'm not fully aware of. I spend a couple hours a week on this, not a ton. Excuse me. So yeah, it's super interesting though, and it's so impossible to time. In retrospect, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, if I would have bought any of these, that would have been great. Teasers, this was one that I bought a while ago, and it did not have 10x growth. So it's just a prime example of, let's see, when did I buy these? I bought them a while ago because they pay out interest, and I don't remember. But this is one that has not had that growth. And is that because they pay out interest? Is it because it's just not a good framework? I don't know. So these are ones where you're like, maybe I should just sell this and put it into another coin, but then what if you sell it and then this one jumps up? It's got a $3 billion market cap. So what if it went to 30 billion and then this went, 10 times? So it's so hard to time this stuff. So my viewpoint on a lot of this is I don't plan to sell any cryptocurrency until I feel that it's kind of maxed out, which is kind of impossible to say because there is really no maxing out. If you hold things for 10, 20, 30 years, as long as it stays a relevant cryptocurrency, it's going to continue to grow. The only time it's going to go away, which I'll get into in a second if I remember. But my thing is for selling it is if it gets to a valuation where there's something I could do with that money. Right now, selling Cardano for $337, I mean, I can pay my power bill. And I still got to pay then capital gains on that money. So, but if it got to $3,000 or $4,000, okay, well now you're talking, a big home improvement project, replacing the windows in your house, like there's something big you could do with that. And I think you could feel good about, even if that price went up later, you could be like, yeah, sure, I missed out on that money, but I was able to do this project because of it. Or if I just sold it now and paid my power bill and then it went up 10 times, it's like, man, wish I would have held on to it. So my plan is to hold on to this stuff. But as far as all these other ones, so, if all of these continued to grow and went 10x, that's awesome. Portfolio becomes worth $14,000. But the reality is, and I think, and this is where I get really, really into my opinion, is I think we are going to start to view, and this is kind of be my last thought here on my thoughts on the future of cryptocurrency, is I think all of these tokens, all these currencies, in essence will become like their own businesses. So these are all different developers who all have different ideas, and you can go into Coinbase and you can read the overview. This is an Ethereum token. Powers the balancer protocol, an automated network that lets anyone. So like they all have business models of like, hey, here's a token that invests other cryptocurrencies, and you invest into this token because that token is used to create these other investments, and that token grows if those investments work out well. And so there's like all these different finance business models around each one of these. And so, if you really get into this, you can read and you can find like, oh, that's a model. That's awesome. I totally agree with what they're trying to do. I want to put my money into that as if I was investing in a stock, in a company. You're investing in the protocol. And I think that's where cryptocurrency is around to stay. I don't think it's any different than a stock. It is still very high risk just because any one of these, could go under, but so could any company in the world as well. You can kind of view like the Bitcoins and the Ethereums, they're kind of like the big, tech companies. They're probably not going anywhere because they're so used everywhere. Google, Apple, Microsoft would if they went out of business, like that's our infrastructure of our technology. So same thing with like an Ethereum. Ethereum is the infrastructure of many of these tokens. Bitcoin is the infrastructure that a lot of these tokens were based off of. So investing in the big two, the Ethereum and the Google, I think are much more safe than some of these other ones because they are the backbone token of them. But just like there's little startup companies that, their stocks start super small, or you can get into early investment, or you're starting up a small business and then it gets really big and then it gets bought out by a Google or it becomes this big new company. That's what I view all these little tokens to be. And so if you have the time, you can read into these and go, hey, I see what they're trying to do with this token. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to invest into that. And if it grows and if it takes off, the value of it will go up. But then there's the chance on a lot of these that as this industry grows, as cryptocurrency becomes more integrated, some of these ideas will become not needed. They'll be like, oh, that was kind of fun, but turns out that's not something people really want in cryptocurrency, and so the token loses value and it falls away. So I think it's very interesting, but that's kind of how I've been viewing these things. Is these in essence are small companies. They're virtual companies because they don't have a building, they don't have infrastructure and assets and equipment and things like that. They're code that are being built on the blockchain, built on top of cryptocurrencies. So just like when the internet came to be and there was a lot of tech companies that embraced the internet, Amazon, for example, companies that at their start the world didn't quite understand yet, but now how do we live without it, So any one of these could become that. It could be, the altcoin that had the idea of how cryptocurrency should work. And so they built on that technology, and in 10 years from now, that becomes your wallet on your phone. It becomes the infrastructure that is used by the common person to send money to friends and families. It becomes the cryptocurrency PayPal or something like that. We don't know, and you don't know which one it is. So, but that's my thinking on the future. At the end of the day, if you're like, that's interesting, but boy, I don't have time to look into that, I say Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be the big two of that, just because so much is built on it. Cardano is one that they are a direct competitor to it. You'll notice when you read their description, it is not built on Ethereum or on Bitcoin. It is a true new underlying technology. So this is one of those places where there's still uncertainty. What if this becomes the better technology for cryptocurrency, and this becomes, Ethereum and Bitcoin right now are the two big guys. What if Cardano becomes the number 2 coin, and Ethereum, has a bug or something like that, and it falls away? There's so much uncertainty. Think of like AOL. And well, Yahoo's still kind of pretty prevalent, but think of the big tech companies from 10, 15 years ago. That, you know, AOL, for example, that was America Online. Like, that was how you got internet. And now it's like, yeah, they're just not as big as they used to be. And, you know, something better came along. And so that can happen with cryptocurrencies as well. So hope this was interesting. If you did like this, just talking through a topic type thing, not scripted, just kind of talking about whatever comes to my mind. If you'd like this, please do like this video so I know to make more of them. And if you did not like this, if this is not really your thing, that's fine. I understand that as well. And like I said, if you haven't signed up for Coinbase, there is a link in the description. Click on it, see what they're offering there. Helps me out. I think it'll help you out too. And it's just an easy way. Even if you don't put money into this, like I said, Coinbase will sometimes offer you a few dollars in free cryptocurrencies, and it's a great way to just get in and see what all these alternative coins are doing. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.